Hello and welcome back to another Sunday Sessions video. To everyone that's new to the channel and you've never seen one of these before, we have been growing quite quickly lately, so I'm assuming there's going to be a few new viewers here, but to people who aren't familiar with what the Sunday Sessions is, basically myself and Luke, we will take in turns to run through our outlooks on the Forex market in these coming trading weeks. So what we'll do, we usually take about 10 minutes each to show you some of the main setups and outlooks we have in this coming trading week, and it pretty much is going to showcase how we will be looking to tackle these markets, and hopefully you can use the information we provide to help you establish your own bias and understand what it is we'll be looking to trade in this coming week. So to start off with here, I am going to be on the XAU USD, so the gold market, on a slightly higher time frame, so the 2 hour, 4 hour region. Just because we know for a very long time, and even if you go back to some of the other Sunday session videos where I have covered the gold market prior, what I actually did, or what I have been doing, is watching this market trade bearish for a very, very long time. Now, once I saw that this bearishness was emerging, my instantaneous thought was that this level of liquidity at the bottom of the market was our major target for price to now eventually come and run. We see that as of recently, we have come to penetrate that region. We've then come back up to retest into a supply zone where we've then had a reversal and next move lower. Now we are expecting that price will come to exceed this current target, although we have injected a small amount of bullishness as of recent, which is causing a slight move up. So what we can potentially expect here is that price will retrace up into a more fractal supply zone, where we'll then see enough supply takeover or be introduced into the market to cause that move lower to exceed that current target that we have been watching for a very long time now. So right off the bat, we can see that there is a pretty obvious buy to sell region here that we see is yet to be mitigated. Now, what I do quite like about this move is that this is the buy to sell that sustained a very high volume move lower. On top of that, you see we have a lot of liquidity points holding just below that zone. So there is many targets for price to actually want to come back up to. So I will leave this identified. We'll set that alert there at around 1673.28 with the hope that price trades up, taps into this, and the mitigation of the order here will hopefully introduce enough supply to cause the reversal and new impulse lower to come and exceed that current target, where we can actually get involved in a very nice sell position there. I believe as we go up, there is also going to be a zone in that region. We'll have to actually check on the lower time frames. We'll go to a 15-minute to actually view that. Yeah, we could probably argue that we have a zone in here also. So those are the two regions that we can look for or expect price to come and mitigate, both of which have an alert. We can also remove this as that is outdated. We'll go back to the 2 hour time frame so we can see what's happening. And right there, we have two supply zones that we can expect price to want to tap before making a move lower. Therefore, I have my alert set at both of those, so I'll be waiting for a tap of those zones. Now, I wanted to give a very quick update on US dollar yen. Now, the reason why I laugh there is because we've had some crazy price action in the last day or two of the markets being open, where we see that within a 2 hour period, we dropped, or as we see here, actually within a 90-minute period, if we get the ruler, we dropped 540 pips total. So if you remember correctly, I was saying for a very long time that we want to try and edge in on buy positions, but this recent push lower may have quite easily taken us out of some of those buy positions that we're loading up on. Now, the major region where I was telling everybody to load up on those buy positions was all the way down here. So anybody who did manage to get involved last month around this region, you're probably in a very good position because of the fact that price is still not traded as down to that point. However, it seems like longer term, we may potentially stay bearish here. We do not yet know. We'll have to see how the dollar and the yen react in this coming week to understand what price is doing longer term. Now, a wider scheme correction would not be too strange because we could argue that we are due one, as we've not been delivered a nice correctional wave in terms of this structure for a very, very long time. Therefore, a deep pullback and mitigation of these orders would actually be good for our longer term bias that price wants to continue higher for a long time to come, because the removal of those orders also indicates the removal of supply in the market, which of course is what we want for the market to move higher longer term. The less supply present, the more demand can be in control, and the longer that we can move up. So not really much that we can actually trade in these coming weeks, more just a case of seeing what this move means in our higher time frame bias, whether we're being delivered a higher time frame correctional wave, or if this is simply a fundamentally driven drop that will just be sustained, recovered before a new move higher. So that's just something we'll have to wait and see in order to help us solidify that longer term bias. Okay, so Euro USD. Now on the 8-hour time frame is what I'm on here. We can see that price, obviously we've recently had impulsive wave lower, correctional wave, reversal of the correctional wave given by this breaker structure, therefore the beginning of the new impulsive wave. In terms of the fractal sense of this emerging impulsive wave, we've had a single move lower, a correction into a supply zone, a reversal, and push lower since the reversal. Now, unfortunately, on Friday, rather than us continuing lower and being able to get in on sell positions to ride this new impulsive wave down, we see that price has obviously had this bullish run, which is coming to take the highs, which should arguably have been protected. Therefore, my assumption now is that price potentially wants to trade us up to take this zone. So the next thing I will be looking for is sell positions from this zone to ride price down to that current target. So this zone, you can see, is around that level of 0.99624. But shorter term, we can potentially look to take some buy positions to ride price up into that zone. And as we see on the 10-minute time frame, we have two regions that represent an unmitigated sell order, which therefore could act as regions of demand that when price trades into them, the mitigation of the order causes a reversal and allows that move higher to be sustained, where hopefully we can profit from a small scalp-like buy position in order to trade that market up into our longer term bias. Okay, now finally, something relatively similar. On pound dollar, we've had a 4-hour impulsive wave, the correction back up, the reversal of the correction evident by the break of structure, and then we're starting to see some lower time frame structure created. So here you can see a 1-hour impulse, correction into a 1-hour supply zone, reversal, and then a move lower on the lower time frames, where you can see that price has been following bearishness quite perfectly. However, we have recently come to deliver early signs of an invalidation of this because of the fact that ideally this should be a protected high. We should have seen price reverse at this supply zone if it was to continue lower. Therefore, I see this as the fact that this trend could be in jeopardy. Now, what's either going to happen here is, if we look inside of this region, is there potentially anything unmitigated that price may see as a target? Now, I'm going to be looking somewhere inside of here as that. So we see that everything in there has been mitigated. So potentially the orders inside of here that we can see. So I would argue pretty much in this region, which is a very tight refined region, is the only place now that price could reverse if it wants to remain bearish. If price comes to exceed this level, I believe that is a sign that price is actually invalidating this 1-hour reversal and instead continuing the 4-hour correctional wave, which may potentially then bring us up to this supply zone higher. But in the shorter term, the most relevant thing right now is seeing if price reacts to this level at 1.13743. If so, we can see a potential reversal there and continuation of this bearishness. And if we can get involved in the bearishness now, that means we have a lot of leeway, because our target from our longer term analysis suggests that from that zone alone, we have 1,000 pips of leeway, or over 1,000 pips of leeway. Therefore, getting involved in sell positions sooner rather than later could be a very, very nice idea. That is my bias on a few markets there. I hope you have enjoyed the outlooks provided. If you have any questions about the analysis, make sure to leave those in the comments, or feel free to message me or any of the team over on Telegram. If you want regular updates on this analysis, make sure you're in the Learning Lounge. But for now, thank you for watching my segment, and I'm going to pass you over to Luke.
Thank you, James, for the analysis there. Some brilliant points made on the pairs that you've looked at. Be exciting to see exactly how price plays out in this coming week. Now what we're going to do is go over to my analysis. I'm going to run through the same 4 pairs that I've been running through these past few weeks, give you my analysis, my bias, let you know exactly what I'm predicting moving forward and how we can look to tackle these markets in the coming week. If you do enjoy the analysis that both me and James provide in this week's Sunday Sessions video, please leave it a thumbs up. All the support that you guys provide is very much appreciated. We are forever growing and we are forever grateful for that. Now, without further ado, let's jump straight into my analysis. Okay, so you'll see on screen, we have the XAU USD pair. This is a market that I have been trading quite often as of recently. I went through a phase maybe a year, 2 years ago where I was trading this on a daily basis. And then we kind of got struck with COVID and the markets went a bit crazy down to fundamentals. It is very fundamentally driven, I feel. So I kind of stayed away from it. But as of recently, I've actually been really enjoying trading this market. And my predictions have been playing out more often than they haven't. So what I'm looking to do with this market this coming week is look for sell opportunities. What I want to see first and foremost is for price to actually trail into my higher time frame point of interest, give us the break of structure and the confluence we need in order to execute those sell positions, and then we can actually look at placing them. So just grabbing my path tool, I want price to tap into this zone, deliver us with the confirmation that price is going to take its next bearish impulse, and then we can look to execute. Now, because this market is a bearish one, we can expect that price is going to actually create a new lower low as it is following bearish structure. In bearish structure, we see lower highs and lower lows get created. So we have a lower high here, we have a lower low here, we will have a lower high here, hopefully, and then it will go on to create a new lower low. Now, yes, we could set our take profit below the last lower low, but in order to be safe and guarantee that our take profit is going to be achieved, we set it just above the last lower low. This way we know for certain that this take profit is more likely to be taken rather than not. And then as always, we will set our stop loss just above the peak that is created from the penetration of this point of interest. Now, this point of interest has come from a last buy to sell candle. As we can see here, it has been left unmitigated. We haven't seen price penetrate this zone as of yet. So before we see price go on to set that new low, I am expecting price to tap into this zone. If you want to mark out this zone for yourself, by all means do so. We are looking at prices between 16.73 and 16.82. Highlight that zone out for yourselves. Look on the 1 hour time frame. Get it marked out, wait for the penetration, and then look to place your sell positions. So that is my bias and my analysis for XAU USD. Now moving over to the Euro US dollar. Again, we are looking at a market that is very much bearish, so we want to be looking for sell opportunities within this market. We always want to be trading with the prevailed trend. As we can see, price has tapped in to a point of interest of mine, offered us with some great bearishness. We did take advantage of this. This was a brilliant trade that we placed on this market just last week. What I will do is I will pop up a screenshot now of the trade before and after, as well as my profits that I made from this position, and also some of the messages that I sent out to the clients in the VIP chat, which allowed them to generate profits alongside me. So as you can see, this position here offered us a brilliant risk to reward return of a 1 to 7, risking 2% of my equity. I was looking at nearly 14% returns from this one trade. Now, what we have seen is price actually go on to set a low, a higher low, in fact, which may throw some people off. They may feel, okay, well, because it is still set in bullish structure, does that mean that price is actually going to continue bullish? Well, if you look closely, the highs that have been created as of now are actually lower than the previous ones, which is still telling us that price is potentially looking to go bearish. What we would want to see now is just this sweep to continue to take place, and then price to break down, start giving us that bearishness, and then we can look to get introduced. I would have my final take profit target set around here. Again, if you guys want to mark out this as your final take profit, this is the price that we're looking at to take profit from. Probably set it slightly above. And then as always, we would set our stop loss just above the structural high that is created, the last structural high. So somewhere like this. And then I'll take profit just like so. So if we do go on to place this exact position, for example, we are looking at a 1 to 11 risk to reward ratio, which is potentially giving us the returns of 22%. Again, this could be an amazing trade. We just need to wait for that confluence in order to place the position. So looking at multiple pieces of evidence that are suggesting the same thing, that price is going bearish. Once we have that, we can look to execute. So I will be looking for breaks of structure fractally. I will be looking for supply zones to be respected and price to reject from them. When we have that, I will then look to get introduced in this market. I could use this, or these lows, should I say, as an area that I want to see break in order for me to even start to look for those sell positions. So we can highlight that out. And then we would essentially want price to pull back, give us the opportunity to get a refined entry, and then we can look to execute those positions. Again, this is my bias and my analysis for Euro USD. Look for those sell positions, wait for the confirmation, highlight these zones out for yourself, and profit with the LAGFX team this coming week. Now moving over to the Euro AUD pair. Again, very similar analysis. This is a bearish dominant market, so we want to be looking for sell positions. We have just seen price tap into a higher point of interest of mine. We have seen what looks to be a distribution. Price has basically prepared itself, gained more momentum to actually drive price lower. It's built up supply in order to push price lower. Now what I'm wanting to see is price actually pull back, give us the opportunity to get a refined entry, and then I will be looking to place those sell positions. We have all the confirmation we need here. We just want that pullback, and then we can look to execute. We've had multiple pieces of evidence like fractal breaks of structure and higher time frame breaks of structure, which is suggesting bearishness. We've had the penetration of our point of interest and good rejection from that zone. Now all we need is that pullback. And my point of interest is very refined. If I go down to the 30-minute, you will see that it is based on this last buy to sell candle. We want to wait for price to pull back into this, clear any remaining liquidity, and then we can look to get introduced. So again, very quick analysis on this pair, but highlight this zone for yourselves and look to place those sell positions based on a penetration and rejection. The zone is, again, so you guys can put this in on your charts, it varies between 1.5612 and 1.5647. Highlight that zone for yourself, wait for the penetration and the confirmation to enter, and then execute those positions. Okay, now finally moving over to AUD USD. Similar to every other pair we're looking at, we want to see price trail into our zone, our points of interest, give us the confluence and confirmation we need in order to place those sell positions, and then look at executing those trades. Again, we have marked a last buy to sell. We are in a bearish dominant market, so we want to be looking for sell positions. It's all now about being patient, sitting on our hands and waiting for the opportunity to arise. Yes, we can look to buy into this market before we sell longer term, but obviously that holds risks. We need to be careful when we look to buy into this market. We would have our take profit set here, and then our stop loss would be set underneath a previous structural low that has been created within this higher time frame bullish corrective wave. Once price has penetrated this zone, we should close our trade and wait patiently for price to suggest bearishness through breaks of structure, displacements in the market, and distributions taking place. Once we have that, we can then look to execute those sells and ride price down, creating its next lower low in the market. Again, our take profit should always be set just above the previous structural low. So we'd want to set it just above this line here in order to guarantee that our take profit is going to be achieved. So again, highlight this zone for yourself, people. Get it marked out on your charts. Wait for price to penetrate into the zone. Once you have the confluence, get yourself involved and profit with the LAGFX team. The price you want to be looking out for is anywhere between 0.6453 and 0.64834. That is going to conclude my analysis this weekend, people. I hope you've enjoyed. As I said earlier, if you have, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on the video. If you have any feedback, if you want to share your analysis as well, by all means, leave it in the comments below. We read all the comments that are left in our videos. And if you guys aren't involved in our Learning Lounge group chat or our VIP chats, get yourself involved. It's a no-brainer. We have loads of free information on there. We are constantly sharing ways of improving you and developing you as an independent, confident trader. Now, without blabbering on too much, as I said, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys in the next Sunday sessions.